We ran into another snag here on this job. Them two lines that get hooked up for a transmission, they're larger. They're 3/8, and the other ones were smaller. So it's not as easy as just changing the end like you would think. That's a different configuration at the bottom of the rad there. So we had to change the fittings for the transmission here. And then now we'll be running some new 3/8 lines. So for those of you out there that get a new rad, have ran into this before, they have every combination known to man for different fittings and stuff like that, and how they fasten into the radiator. So just a word of caution, be prepared to have to search out different fittings if they aren't the same with what you already have to make it work. Here we are here with the new lines routed in there, those new 3/8 lines with the 3/8 hose connections on there, and then now we'll slip our fan in place. We got a condition here where the fan won't slide into place properly, and the problem is these locating pins they're not fitting into the slot on the new rad. So just grab an Olfa knife and kind of chisel away some of the material so it'll fit in there properly, and then it'll seat down all the way and rest to the bottom. Another problem is our clamp back down there for the lower rad hose. I had to kind of turn that sideways as much as I could because it was actually sticking up enough to hit the bottom of the fan, so it also too wouldn't allow it to go down all the way. So a couple little things that you gotta play with to get everything to fit right, and then get it all buttoned up. After we did some trimming there, we got our fan to fit real good. There's just 2 tabs. It slips into the bottom there, holds it in place, and then there's these 2 bolts here, 10 mil. Snug those down, and this has the bracket to hold the hose here. And then we put back our air cleaner assembly. So we've got 1 nut down in there, 10 mil, and we've got this one here, 10 mil, and that's going to hold the bottom portion of this air cleaner assembly. And then plug that back in, and just kind of routing your wires, your hoses. Put the top on, all 10 mil around the top on this vehicle, and then also to make sure that this is all fastened in there into the air cleaner assembly housing, and then there's a pipe, the intake pipe that comes there. So that's all good, and now we can move on back to the front of the engine here with the water pump. So we've cleaned our surfaces there, got it all cleaned up, wiped down nice, and then we're going to put our new water pump on there. And I just used some Vaseline to put into the groove there, hold that O-ring in place while we bolt this on. So there'll be 6 bolts, should be about 10 mil, and we'll bolt this on. We got that water pump on down there. It's about 6 bolts, 10 mil, and I torqued them up to 140 inch-pounds. Next, we'll put on our rear timing chain cover here. So we've got 4 bolts here put on this back cover, 8 mil. There's 2 here, 1 in here, and 1 right there. And again, because that's plastic, I just torqued that down to 90 inch-pounds. It was already cracked before. Anyway, before we get any more involved, what I wanted to do is I wanted to remove that motor mount that bolts in there, and those are 4 13 mil head bolts, and here it is here, and that pulls out, and I just want to pull that out and take a look at it. I don't see any cracking or deterioration, which is good news. But if we take a look down here when we were working on this, if you could get in close, you can see some cracking in the rubber there, and that one looks like it needs to be replaced. There's also on this side here, you can see. So that's good, because this one's nice and easy to get to after the vehicle's completely assembled. So, but we just want to take that one out, and it comes here. That's where that Torx bolt goes through and bolts onto there. So good news is that one's in good shape, and when we put this all back together, we won't have to worry about that one.